locked and focused production.
I am HyphenX, and welcome to the great conversation where we indulge in healthy dialogue about topics that are important in today's society and culture. Got two baddies here today. Okay. All right, we got Jasmine from the Weekend Warzone Podcast. Say what's up to the peeps.
How you guys doing? I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. And we also have Nalla from Pop Your Shit Podcast.
Hey now, thank you for having me.
Thank y'all for coming out. If y'all don't, tell me a little bit about yourselves real quick. We'll start with Nalla. Nalla, since you don't
Nalla.
Nalla.
All
right,
Lion King.
Oh, okay. It's my daughter's nickname. I gotta get that right. Nalla. Like that? Can I say it like that?
You can say that. That's cool.
Right. So tell us a little bit about your podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
A little bit about my podcast. I just feel like Pop Your Shit is where, you know what I'm saying, you keep stuff real, raw, uncut, and then it's basically about achievements, accomplishments, and different things that you just pop your shit about.
Like pop your shit, pop your collar.
Yeah, you know, flex a little bit, just a tad.
Jasmine, tell us about yours, Weekend Warzone.
Well, the name comes from basically the weekend. Who doesn't love the weekend? So you're gonna love the conversation. It's about overall growth, and people, I feel like a lot of people realize that they don't realize other people's side of the story. So we get into that a lot, but it's the Weekend Warzone. Nothing is, we talk about everything, so.
What's the most outrageous episode that y'all have had so far?
That we've had? I would say the BD drama. Just because I got good inboxes after the fact. Like, we had 3 women who were considered baby moms on the show, and it just went up from there, so.
Went up? What's some of the problems? What's the problem between the BMs and the BDs?
Oh, lack of communication, that's it. And I say that personally, because, you know, but lack of communication is it.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of communication?
Yep, absolutely.
So
comprehension. Too.
There you go.
I was going to say comprehension got a lot to play in it. Well, we're going to dive into some of what we're going to talk about today. So we do live in a country where both men and women are represented in both the work and political forces, okay? But some would say that it's still a man's world. Here at Great Conversation, we like to propose the question, does male privilege exist?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How?
I mean, in every which way that you could possibly think of. I mean, it's a very sexist type of world. Men have the ability to be players, and they get congratulated for that. They have the privilege to be daddies if they want to be daddies and stuff like that. I just feel like, I mean, in everything that they do, they have more of a privilege than a woman. Anything that we do, we're either judged by being bitchy, hoish, catty, reckless, ratchet, all of those things. So I feel like a lot of men don't get the type of scolding that women get.
Jazz?
Easily, I agree.
You cold-heartedly?
Yeah, honestly, because I feel like a lot of men are portrayed to be dominant in every situation. You know, the man is the man of the household. The man is the one, even in like simple things, scary movies. The man's the one who saves the day. The man who gets away first. You know, it's always the woman is the one who messes up. You know what I mean? Even sexually, like, what is it, 50 Shades of Grey? Kind of a fan, I was. But like, the man was the dominant. Like, why couldn't she have been the dominant? You know what I mean?
Wasn't she the dominant in the second one?
Yeah, but that was the second one.
She had to learn the ways.
Right.
Now, let's look at the word privilege for a second. So, privilege means special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. So, you guys are saying that in some instances, what I'm hearing is more sort of a sexual nature that men have a privilege over women? Societal privilege?
Societal, definitely.
Societal. Like, a lot of people say that women have it easy, but you can find a bum off the streets and a woman to give him whatever. Like, he can literally glow up. What man really waits for a woman to get her stuff together? Or is not judged by not having their stuff together? And I just say that because I'm a real woman. I don't need saving. Right. But, like,
no, I hear what you're saying, but I've seen a lot of hoopties get, you know, got the oil change, tires rotated. You know what I'm saying? Done, you know, as you say, glow up to what she got glammed up. I have seen it. I've seen women look like bums. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it, and I would agree with both of you that I believe that women may be judged a little bit more harshly, but I think that's because our respect level for y'all is just a little bit higher. Y'all don't think that?
You said you think it's higher?
Yeah, respect level. That's why you get judged a little
Can
bit
I
more
ask
critically.
why you think it's higher?
Because if I
mean,
will. So if a man goes out and he sleeps with 15 women, right? Everyone looks to him as a conqueror, things of that nature. Because we all know that when it comes to we equivalent men with dogs.
Yeah.
And they say dogs will what? Hump, fuck, anything, right?
Absolutely.
If a woman does that exact same thing, I look down. My perception, her rate may go down, because I'm looking at her. I'm like, this is a woman. This is like God's gift to the planet. Why is she just so frivolous? Why is she just giving it away like that?
Why you don't look at the guy like that?
right.
I don't look at the guy like that because I'm a guy.
See,
and society has already said that men are equivalent to dogs, and we go out and we hump and we fuck anything. So when you see a woman put on that man persona, that nature, then you look at them differently. Y'all don't think y'all respect it at a high level?
I don't think that I would put respect as the
Yeah.
level in which that is the difference of that, but I would feel like we're just judged at a different standards. You give guys the type of opportunities, oh, he got mama issues, or he wasn't raised right, or his daddy wasn't around, or he wasn't like that, so he has all these reasons to be the person that he is. But for a woman, you're just supposed to be wholesome, why I can't have daddy issues, why I can't be confused,
I think we say women have daddy issues. I think we openly say that, and we kind of equivalent to those to prostitutes, strippers, things like that. When you are more promiscuous like that, we do say that. Where's her dad? You know what I'm saying? I see that a lot. So here in America, right? There aren't any laws that prohibit a woman from being successful here. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There aren't any laws whatsoever. But there are laws that are made for and directly for women. Is that not a privilege?
It depends on law.
Yeah, like which
Okay.
one's up?
1913, women were given the right to vote. 7 years later, in 1920, black women were granted the right to vote. That's for y'all. Given to you by men.
So why do you feel like that's a privilege?
We're supposed to be equality.
Is it equal? When men started the whole voting process, do you know why women weren't allowed to vote?
Because they weren't in the war, I'm assuming.
Yes, they weren't eligible for the draft.
Okay.
The rules changed. Women can vote, and women are still not eligible for the draft.
Right. So are you saying like it was supposed to be a man thing because they had a little bit more, background and education on it because they could go to the war and the women couldn't?
I'm just saying that being a man, to have the right to vote as a man, you had to be eligible to be drafted for the war. Women, to be eligible to vote, they don't have to do this exact same thing that the man does. So that's not equal, right?
Oh, well, we fixed that. We can go to the war now.
No, you can go there, but you can't be drafted.
I know. Oh.
You can't be drafted into the war. So you guys are getting
It's a war, having no babies, cleaning that
She
house.
said it's a war.
Cooking.
Niggas clean houses. Niggas clean houses.
Look,
And
hey,
niggas take care of kids.
I gotta deal with I gotta be a woman, my hormones, hold it down. Y'all can't really survive and walk a day in the life of a woman and hold it down.
I don't
like
think
women.
y'all can survive a day in the walk of a man.
Man, we
It's easy. It's easy being a man, huh?
Seems like it.
Is it? We gotta deal with y'all. It's not easy.
Oh man.
It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. Let's look at some of the other things that laws and acts and things like that was given to women that I'm calling women privilege, okay? So in 1948, women can now serve in the armed forces. That was in 1948. 1963, the Equal Pay Act was put in so that you guys can get equal pay and whatnot. Also, 1973, abortion was made legal, and women graduated at a higher percentage than men, 63% versus 57%. I'm trying to see where the male privilege comes in at.
the fact that you even have to address those
Thank
laws
you. Thank
is the
you.
fact that men have always had the upper hand because the law is there because the women don't have it. They didn't have that
So,
right.
In the year 2020, what privileges do men lawfully have over women?
Honestly, I would say taking care of a child, and I mean that. And I would say, I mean, a lot of people look at it like it's a choice, but in the state of Wisconsin, anyways, like if you guys are not married and you have a child and no one signs off, it's automatically mom's responsibility. That's automatic. Sole custody placement, it's on the mom. You know, that's a privilege for the dad. Like, everything should be equal. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you really don't.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So not the fact of having a child, but having to take care of.
Yeah, and it's
a
more
child.
than just physically too. Like the medical bills, like all that falls on mom right now. Unless you guys go to court, somebody signs off.
Yeah, there we go. So there's
Mm-hmm.
stages to that.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of single fathers.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, me too.
definitely.
I know a lot. I know people who've been single fathers from
Yep.
birth. The mother just didn't want anything to do with the child. So then the man takes over. So I don't think that's maybe it's more societal privileges. Because what's the saying that we always hear?
Mama's baby's daddy's baby.
Yeah, you said that right on cue. You said that right on cue. So like, what women having these rights, right? Because women wanted to come in, they wanted to to vote. Women wanted to go to the army.
We shouldn't have wanted to. Our voice needed to be heard.
I agree. But did you know that over half of the women in America did not want the right to vote because of the draft?
They wasn't trying to go pop them missiles like that. That was it.
So I think society bends more towards women than it does towards men.
That would just have to be agreed to disagree.
Right. I mean, it can go both ways, really.
Exactly.
Because it's always them people. It's not everyone. It's always them people who gotta take the extra mile sometimes. Like, I don't feel like this is fair. I want these same rights. When I do understand sometimes, like, the process of, like you said, like, they had the right to vote because they were able to get drafted as well. So I feel like it was that one woman who wanted everything to be fair. There's nothing wrong with her. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? For standing up. But I'm saying it was just that one who stepped out.
So you got equal. So I'm hearing we're saying like equality, equal. So what is equal? What's equal?
Tit for tat. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but really though, like, you can do it, I can do it. Like,
so men in the United States Army, men have to run the mile at a certain time marker. They have to do push-ups, a certain amount of push-ups, a certain amount of pull-ups. In order for women to be able to get into the army, they had to lower those numbers. Where is that equal?
men are physically, isn't that like a scientific thing? Like, men are stronger, women are smarter. Like, that's a scientific thing.
So women give birth to children, and society comes at them and say, hey.
Okay, don't do that.
Okay, I'm catching the drift.
Right,
okay. I don't think the world is not equal. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not living in the 1700s, 1800s, 1600s when they were saying that women couldn't own property. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Where women could own property but not have rule over the property that they own. We're in 2020, and what I'm hearing is that if a woman wants to be promiscuous, let her be promiscuous and not judge her in the same standards that you judge a man. And that's where we're at.
Hey man, look.
So when women want permission, women want to be glorified for busting it open.
I feel like a lot of these men, I don't know how to even judge that, because right about now in these day and ages, it's like this is what the guys say they want right about now. So women trying to conform to what society is. When I wanted to be Betty the pie maker and stuff like this, okay, I was doing this because this seemed to be the way. Now you got the guys pop that, be this, that, and that. Okay, I mean, shout out to Cardi B and stuff like that. But why should I be wholesome?
Yeah.
y'all getting wiped that, you know what I'm saying? Go get your ass shots, go get your stuff, go ahead and go to Magic City, go down in Atlanta and bust it open. You gonna cheat on me for the stripper, so why can't I get right? But that's not
Side
me.
note, if you cheat on somebody with a stripper, then their relationship was weak in the first place. Because she's a paid entertainer. Like,
And these guys is paid fools. Broke fools.
what do you think pushes a man to go cheat with a stripper?
A stripper, I would say just, he's very lonely and desperate right now. I mean, there's nothing really past that.
Like, so do you think he's cheating on someone, or do you think it's more or less like she's fulfilling a fantasy that he's not receiving at the crib?
I feel that's exactly what it is.
So everyone should be. So you got to be ratchet. You got to be ratchet to your spouse, right?
Yeah, you gotta
You
get
got,
a
you,
little
got, you got to
nasty.
be a little ratchet to your spouse. You know what I'm saying?
Your spouse.
Well, since y'all trying to be like men, whoever happens to be there at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Since you're, because it says in like I don't want to get all religiously and whatnot, but in the Bible it says that the woman should desire to be like the man. That was one of her punishments. You know what I'm saying? And also bearing children was one of her punishments. I think what society is that we have lost sight of gender roles, and now it just wants to be one big blur. Men want to be women, women want to be men.
agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like women feel as if like, hey, I'm working, I'm doing this, so I should be able to act like the man in this situation. I should be able to be out, do what I want to do without any repercussion.
You goddamn right.
You heard?
That's big facts, y'all. She a little lively today. The baby's gonna be a 301. It's not happening. I debated about having this shit. Eyes ready. So since women have now had the able to vote and whatnot, been a lot of women in Congress, and we also had Shirley Chisholm being the first black woman to actually run for president and whatnot. We had that before. We have quite recently some Democrats in the primary were women of color as well. But what major strides have women made with their choices or votes? What major strides? You got the Equal Pay Act and you got abortion.
That was the number one thing was abortion.
Why? Why abortion?
You said why?
Yeah, why is abortion big?
Because the number one reason it's big is because it's a woman's body, and for a man to have any input at all on that, like I understand that's your child, may or may, I don't know what the situation is, but like for you to have some type of say so in if I can carry this or not, like I feel like that caused a lot of issues.
I would debate. I would say that a woman is able to do whatever she wants to do with her body. Sorry, that baby body is not your body.
Then tell the doctors to tie the tubes, because they won't do that either unless you 30 plus and you got 3+ kids.
You want to make sure you're making the right decision.
I see what you on, baby. I'm catching how you moving in these streets. I just want to let you know that.
Hey, I'm just talking. So with the choice that women were able to make, you said abortion was a big one, right? So let's look at some of this. So 49% of abortion patients live below the federal poverty level, okay? 59% of abortions are obtained by women who already have children. 60% of abortions are obtained by women in their 20s. And black women, which make 13% of the U.S. population, receive 36% of the United States abortions. Why are black women getting abortions?
The stress, well, I can't say I don't have kids, but I feel like, look, it's hard out here. I don't know. I don't, maybe you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, well, I have kids. So I think it's really one of two reasons, and the main one, I wouldn't say main one, but it's just like you said, when you were mentioning Cardi B, like this stuff that everyone's looking up to, oh, I'm sleeping with so-and-so's man, her husband's over here doing this, that, next, boom, now it's a baby involved. So I think that's one major reason. I think another reason is people really look at the situation like, I'm staying with you, you staying with me, we live with our parents, we don't have a car, I'm not going to bring a baby into a situation where I know it's going to be
So
you know.
accidental pregnancies
Yeah.
are a big reason.
Yeah.
Irresponsible sex.
Yeah, really.
Okay,
There's
irresponsible.
about 3
Yeah.
things that come out of having unprotected sex.
What's the 3 things?
You may or may not catch that orgasm. You may or may not catch that burn.
Damn.
Or goddamn it. Oops, 9 months later, baby. Check it out. You know
So
what I'm saying?
orgasm, burn, maybe, kid, maybe. Everything a maybe is
Yeah.
or
I mean, 'cause
trash.
it's-
I'll throw the 4th in there.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
what.
be trash
Well,
on
if you
both
ain't
ends.
got that, if he ain't scratched that itch or you ain't itched that scratch, then it was, you know, what we doing?
What, you gonna go back out and find some more?
Maybe that itch been stretched out. Maybe it's been stretched out, cut out. I don't know.
She blew out like that. That's what you trying to say.
Looking
Maybe
like
he don't know what, you know what I'm saying?
looking like
We
the
not.
back of a raw chicken.
Maybe that turkey, that sausage was not getting where it needed to be, bro.
Yeah, it's stressed out. Stressed out. It's hard to throw a hot dog in the hallway. It's hard.
Hey, you got to put that mouth, get that glisten.
Yeah.
Get your work on now.
So I'm hearing irresponsible sex. So if a woman has the right over her body and she gets to choose if she's gonna have an abortion or not without any consent of the man, then why should the man have to take care of a child that he doesn't want to have? Because it does happen the other way.
I know, I get that, and
Yeah.
I had a discussion with a friend about this because he's in a situation. He's like, we messed around one night stand type of deal. He's like, she got pregnant. I begged her to, get an abortion. I begged her, and she has a baby. And now she's throwing it on me all the time. He's like, I love my son, but granted, I didn't. I asked for that. I didn't ask for this, so it really was a hard situation for him. I'm just like,
Is that fair?
no, it's not fair.
No, it's
at
not.
all.
That, and it's
Not at all.
and you have a lot of women. Like it's just the society we live in. This world is cold because you got a lot of women. I mean, you got guys that trap women too. Don't
True.
get it twisted.
I know a couple
Because
guys.
you got some guys. I'm not letting you go. You're gonna
Yep.
be my baby mama. We
Forever.
locked in forever. Okay.
Forever. I'm breaking
But
the
it's
window,
but
coming
it
out.
is but it is a lot of women. Like if a guy go up out of his way, now I do understand. Like if you want to love your child and you want to like literally take on the role to do what you got to do by yourself. But I don't know how I feel about a person being like, I don't want this at all. This is not the move. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to have to go put you on child support and stuff like that. When you told me throughout the gate, like, I don't want nothing to do. Like, so.
And this really just goes back to the lack of communication.
And level of maturity.
Yeah, really, because it's okay, fine, fun having one night stands, whatever, but like, you don't know this person like that, for one, half the time. Or you do know this person and you guys aren't on a clear level. She thinks y'all dating now. He's just, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna go back home in a minute.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Or vice versa.
He just going back to the crib. A
Yeah,
date ends.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I'm saying, like, it's vice versa. She could be the same way, but like, lack of communication. And this is where these problems are coming from. No one's communicating.
Is it really, because I like communication and comprehension.
Yes.
So
Well, yes.
a guy can say, hey, shorty, it's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? We just, and then we done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If a person doesn't comprehend that and they get pregnant and they still want to have the baby, should that father be legally responsible to take care of that child?
I would say no, honestly, on a man's term, no. But do you know how many people would go to court and say, oh, I told her I didn't want it? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't got time for it. Don't
Because
have
guys
time,
be
'cause-
lying. They be pillow talking.
Yeah, that's
you
like-
be saying all that.
Yeah,
You be in that. You be
it
in
would
that.
just be a
in that
waste.
water
It's
talking
just
about.
it's a question, so you want to have my baby. That's a question. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying
Not mid-stroke. Not mid-stroke. That is not a question.
Something happens. Something magical happens when a man get ready to climax. It's a whole nother person come in. You don't even think clearly.
But you know you want to win, it's on the baby. Have it. Nah, man.
Because women get to make that decision to terminate that child with the man's consent or without the man's consent. So I think that's a female privilege. Bam.
If you know, you can't. How could you say that? Because like I say, if you guys were given the right to bear children,
But we're not.
it'll be a lot of aborted babies,
Yeah.
bitter baby daddies. So you just gonna leave me like that 9 months pregnant with my like guys couldn't even handle what women go through, and that's a fact. Like, and I can't even
I agree
stress
with that. I
enough.
don't think I can handle childbirth. I don't think I can handle being pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Lord, seeing
I don't
your
think I
baby.
can handle having a menstrual cycle. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I can handle any of that because women are different than men. Point blank, period. Men are built a certain way, women are built a certain way, and they're built to complement each other. You know what I'm saying? But to say that that all men couldn't handle, because there's some men out here who think they can handle being a woman, and they go out and they have sex changes. Yep, talking about the T's, y'all. I'm back.
Hey,
So, I'm sitting with two real women right here. How do you feel about a person that says one day decides like, I'm a woman now?
we talked about that, and you know, I honestly believe certain stuff people are born a certain time. You shouldn't I mean, you can be whoever you want to be in your mind, but like, I mean, that LBGT community and all y'all shenanigans and charades.
Hard.
You know, I don't care if you get 6 argumentations. Bruce, you are Bruce. You are not Bethany. Okay? There's not a pill that is going to change that. So I don't care about
They're taking the extrasen, they're taking the
you
hormones.
can have the voice, the this, the that, but you are still genetically a man.
Taking their penis and putting it inside.
Is that what they do? 'Cause
Yeah, they flip
really
it.
Always. Did you
They
guys see
flip
that
it.
little? It was like the first transgender who came out as a child. Her name is Jazz, actually, and she was showing off her scars. I'm like, why, like? And I was just, like,
You
you
said
know,
she was a child?
yeah, a child
Like
that
how
came
old?
out, like a child, like 6 years old, and decided to be transgender. Then she was on Oprah.
I think I know.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
she now is Jazz.
See
yes.
how confused
her
they
name's
get?
Jazz Jennings. Yes.
What? Like Kylie Jennings? Is she
No,
part of
Jenner. No,
Jenner?
no.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
right.
it's
I'm
one
like-
in the family.
I'm like, they just
No,
going
no,
to
no,
family.
no.
Like
Her
Bruce son? Caitlyn? I don't know. But, you know, they have this thing called hormone blockers for children. You know what I'm saying? Between the ages of 3 and 12. If a little boy says that he's a girl and he wants to stop natural
Come
puberty,
on,
he
what?
can take these hormone blockers that will stop natural puberty.
He can't make a decision to go get no cigarettes until he's 21.
Yeah.
He can't drink until he's 21. Can't drive until I forgot whatever the law is. But this 3-year-old can say, I want to be Sarah,
Yeah.
Princess Sarah, and we gonna block how you feel. But see, that's America. This is America, people,
Yeah.
and this is what we live in, and it gets deeper than that. You have to go
Oh,
to
yeah,
that. It's an
definitely.
about.
Dig deep, go ahead.
I mean,
We
you
can
know
make a little
that's.
cash off. Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So,
Look,
they
and it's
farm
an
it.
Let me run you this
abomination
business
of,
plan real quick.
you know, this melanated magic too. You got a lot of them that be doing stuff, but look, it is a war out on us, and by any means necessary, we gonna try to make your women overly masculine, make your males overly feminine, so we can always keep the black house divided.
I love the way you just said that. Because if we look back at these laws, right, if you notice in 1913 it said women got the right to vote. 7 years later, black women got the right to vote. So since the beginning of time, it's never been a man-woman issue. Not with blacks, it hasn't been a man-woman issue. It's been a white man, white woman, and then black people issue. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that we do allow their issues to, let me just come out and say it. I believe that the black woman got lost in the white feminist movement, and that helped cut the divide into the black family. Agree or disagree?
Slightly disagree, because this goes back to like the Willie Lynch syndrome, how to train a slave and stuff like that. I feel like the worst thing we ever did for ourselves was segregate ourselves in general. So for the people, like, I don't believe in
Say that again.
the segregation and stuff like that. I feel like that was the worst thing that we did, because when we were actually blacks over here, whites over here, and stuff like that, we had our own systems. We had our
So integration.
Yes, integration.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was the worst thing that did. Like, they teach this in school, like, oh, that was a positive thing for that, but that actually, like, weakened us, because
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Black Wall Street, things of that sort. We had a nice little
Because we were forced to have to deal with each other. I agree with that.
and we made it happen. And then actually, when stuff was going too crazy, they bombed the Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying?
Torn up.
And just, I mean, it's kind of going off topic, but it's a reason why the Black Panther Party was, you know, dismantled, and you still have Bloods, Crips, and everything else. Like, they don't want to
We can go
see.
that way. We can go that route. So,
You want to go there?
yeah, we can definitely go that route. So, because I'm hearing you say things like about Willie Lynch, post-traumatic slave syndrome. That's what I'm hearing you. That's what's coming up. Dr. Gray has a great book on that called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and talking about exactly what you're talking about, trauma and how the trauma kept going. And in the Willie Lynch letters, they saw the the strength in the black family unit. They seen that. You know what I'm saying? So if that's where our strength lies, then they have to start beating us there. So they did do things like you said, like demasculinize the man in front of the woman. You know what I'm saying? That's why to this day, when the police comes around, if the police was coming here right now, I would probably have one of y'all go talk to the police before I would go talk to the police. Because that's how it was back then. Because the woman would deal with the slave master. Because if you get the woman, you take care of the economics for black people. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense? Like, they equivalent us to cattle and beasts and whatnot. And if the female is still giving off offspring and being the first teacher, and we separate that, then she's going to what? She's going to teach the female daughter to be independent and make the male be dependent in fear of him having an uprising and becoming a martyr and being killed or crucified or lynched, whatever term you want to use, locked up, however you want to look at it, things in that nature. So I agree with you 110%. It does go all the way back. That's why I'm saying that in tribal times, the black man and the black woman were together. During slavery, the black man and black woman was together. During Reconstruction, the black man and black woman was together. During the Civil Rights Movement, the black man and the black woman was together. But after that, the feminist movement came about. Black men and black women separated because I'm accusing the black woman of switching up on us and going to the other side and being involved with the white woman's drama with her man. Comments.
See, I don't know how to look at it, because I would think that in a sense, I mean, this is just my opinion, I feel like the black woman has always had the black man's back from the beginning of the time regardless. Like, I mean, they did do a lot of things to like demasculate the man, but I feel like a lot of guys, it seemed like y'all switched up on us. Like,
at what point?
Like, I have to say, well, I'm only 30, I'll be 31, so I really can't go all the way back, but you seen the real surge of all these guys. Like, you never really heard a lot of women, oh, if it ain't white, it ain't right, I won't Brad, I want this and that. You got the guys going, oh, I want the light, it started with the red bones, now if it ain't foreign, it's boring, all this other stuff. Like,
if it ain't foreign, I never
like, literally, you have a lot of all these songs and stuff like that. You have a lot of guys, like, you hear a lot of black men now speak on, oh, I don't date black women, or I don't do this and I don't do that. Everything to like literally get at the black woman. But when it's all said and done, like, we have your back. We're not making songs talking about, oh, if he ain't this, he ain't that. So I just feel like somewhere, somehow, the man, like, I feel like they turned their back up on us. And when it's all said and done, when you get dried out and ran through, you run back to the woman that's already had you. But when you up, you want to go over there and go talk to the people who wouldn't even look at you at all. Like,
so we're looking at like cause it's two type of niggas. You know what I'm saying? You got like, you know, the one with the money that go get the white trophy girl, and then you have the other type, which is low self-esteem, whatnot. Belittles women because of his mother issues, you know what I'm saying? And he dates white girls as well, but not the high caliber white girls.
Oh, them cookie monsters.
Yeah.
Come on.
Raw chicken.
Raw chicken. You know
But,
what I'm saying? And they go that route. So I do see, I understand what you're saying, where you could say that it look like, because now you have the media. And the media shows like back in the day, like an OJ. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the juice. I'm talking about when he was like popular in white America. You know, he always had I'm not black, I'm OJ. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we all suffer from the wanting to be accepted by the system.
Oh yeah.
By white people.
I feel like everything that we are taught, even up in school, is how to be accepted in the sense of how do we need to appreciate our natural given features and stuff like that. When you go in school, what is a sign of beauty? It's not black. What is a sign of, I mean, like, even with that, you go judge a cat. Why is a black cat supposed to be
bad luck?
You know, why is
you know,
everything about the color black is supposed to be bogus or bad in general. But I feel like we lost each other. Like I say, like, men, y'all ain't got our back. But I feel like we lost each other, because then when you, even though like if I'm not mistaken, I think like the Wick and stuff like that was funded and stuff by the Black Panthers and stuff like that. They started it. But it's like, okay, you put the system into the system, so it's like, okay, for you to get these certain type of things, you got to kick the man out the house. He can't be around. If he don't do this, he go to jail and stuff like that. And then I feel like a lot of guys gave up on the fact of like even trying and stuff like that. Like, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. But let me show you the other side of that coin. The man, I see it as like the man, but the woman saw no benefit of the man being there because the government became her man. If I let you in here, they're gonna kick me out of my housing. If I let you in here, they can't even have no new appliances back then. You couldn't have nothing new. If they find you, I'm gonna lose my housing, I'm gonna lose my food. Get the hell up out of here. You can't get. You went to the war, you fought for the country, you came back, now you strung out on heroin. You know what I'm saying? I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? So the black man started to feel worthless to the black woman. You know what I'm saying? But white women, white people have always had this fixation with black people, black men, black hair, black fashion. You know what I'm saying? So she would talk to Calvin a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, come here.
Let me get some of that.
Let me bring you over here and dust you off. I'm gonna clean you up, give you a haircut. You know what I'm saying? There you are, Calvin. You know what I'm saying? Now Calvin's working at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Calvin's doing good for himself, but he's taking that check home to a white woman. So I do think that we need to bridge the gap, not get so mixed up in the white man and white woman's drama within themselves. Because if most black men are raised by single black mothers, right? How could he not grow up and love a black woman? Yes, here we go.
And see, a lot of that, now going back to this, a lot of these women, a lot of these single black women got everything to do with how these men are right about now. So like I said, it's bogus for you to be like, oh, if it ain't right, or this and that. But then again, you've been getting beat, called bitch ass niggas, fopped up, you know, your daddy walked out, you look just like him and stuff like that. A lot of mothers, you sit up and you raise these men. You are very, like, you got 10 different guys in and up out this house. You're probably more weaker to the men that you have in the home, but you got your son supposed to be the man of the house, so you got the weight of the world on the little boy back. You talking to him like you reckless. You doing all this other type of stuff. So then it's like, when I grow up, it's not that I don't like a black woman, but when I look at you, I may love my mother on the surface, but at the same time I hate everything about her. So I've been getting cussed out since I was 5. I don't want to deal with that and stuff like that. So a lot of guys, like a lot of women, you are the reason why certain men are the way that they are. It starts from the mothers. Like, we are the nurturers, we are the teachers and stuff like that. You really can't say the dad, but some of them, you know, some guys, your daddy a hoe, you a hoe too, but like a lot of women got
dads hoes, we call them Rolling Stones.
Rolling. I was a Rolling Stone. Okay, cool. But no, a lot of, because I mean, I have literally witnessed a lot of women, and especially more systematic type of women. You are the worst, and the worst to the boys. Like, man, why do you think it's okay to talk to your son this type of way, and then you don't have no mouth for your mate at all? At all. Like,
that's deep. That's real deep, because I look at it as like, what's the word I'm looking for right now? What's the phrase I always say? Be facts. I'll be like, a lot of single black women raise boys into men that they wouldn't even date.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or the exact men. Like, I mean, you see some of this, like, even with fashion and stuff like that. Girl, why is you dressing this little 3-year-old like your dope dealing boyfriend? Put him on.
Why does he have a fur on?
You feel me? And then just even the type of things, you know, the power of the tongue is so real. Why do you speak that type of nature of your son? He gonna be a player. He gonna have all the girls. He gonna do this and that.
Or they make them really feminine.
Yeah. Oh, and that too. That comes a lot, because it's like you fly and you dress, but at the same time, like, this your son or this your boyfriend. Like, I understand affection, but you got people that go beyond. Like, you know, why is your
friends coming over talking about where my little boyfriend at?
You know, different things, and it's a lot of, you know, everybody want to talk about R. Kelly, but it's a lot of R. Shellys.
Tell about
a lot of them.
Shit.
Period. But you know, that's another.
No, keep it going. We all over the place. That's
like,
how real conversation goes.
It's a lot. Like,
because like, if I was like, say my friend had a little girl, and I was like, where's my girlfriend? Where my little girlfriend at?
You're gonna die.
You're going to jail.
That's not. We're not gonna play that type of way.
Punched in the face, jumped on.
You're not finna come sit all up on my lap, let no man stroke your daughter hair and all that stuff. Wear my hug, wear this and that. It's the way. Women, you know, like I say, everybody puts the stigma, like I say, the difference between men and women, everybody puts the stigma up on the male predators, but it's women predators out here too and stuff like that. So you comfortable enough, like, you know, people is a lot, I've heard a lot of guys that were molested at early ages and stuff like that by them same people that, oh, he's so cute, he's so this and that, hey, come touch this, come feel this and that and stuff like that. So yeah, now that right there, you know, a lot of women, we were talking about that from, we did an actual segment on her show about the video that went viral about the mom going to the school and cussing a little boy out and doing all of that. Like, that right there, that was such an L. And, like, for the people
such an L.
Like, people, you wanted your 15 minutes of fame, and you was willing to sell your own kid out to make it look better, like, just to do that.
Was she arrested? She needed to be arrested.
I believe they removed from the home and was arrested. But that right there, like I say, that stuff like that, that's why a lot of black men do grow up. Why? I mean, in that case like that, I do understand. Why would you want to deal with somebody? Because I'm only trying to talk to you. I maybe done raised my voice a little bit, but now I'm giving you triggers of what you done had on your life. I don't want no parts of that.
I couldn't do nothing when I was little.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna take care of you now.
Exactly. Or I don't have to deal with you. I'm on to the other person that just, you know.
Now you said you had children, boys, girls.
2 girls.
2 girls. Now if you had a boy, would you raise him differently than you raise your girls?
I do raise a boy.
Okay.
It's my daughter's older brother. So do I raise them differently?
Yes.
I do. He's the oldest. He'll be 9. My daughter's 5, and then 3. But he's the oldest, and I raise him. I'm really I'm not rough on him. Like, I tell my kids every day I love them, but like I'm tougher on him because I'm like, you will not grow up to be sorry. And it's just simple things like I block out and I explain to him everything. Like, even when he's pushing his sisters around, like, we don't put our hands on women. Well, she hit me. Okay, you know, you bring that to me, or you grab her hand and just ask her, don't hit me again. Don't put your hands on women. And there's certain things that you gotta stop now. Everyone's like, oh, they're brother and sister. Oh, they're kids. They're fine. Like, you gotta stop things early.
What do you say to your daughter when she hits him? When the sister hits the brother, what do you say to the daughter?
Keep your hands off him. Period. Do you want somebody to hit you? No.
Oh yeah, because if your brother, your father, your cousin, those are the first relations of a man. And it's like, you know, when you grow up fighting your brother, I don't really care about nobody else, but everybody not gonna play with you like that.
Early on,
you know,
everybody not gonna hold back.
Yeah, and then you can't be like, oh, I'm a woman and stuff like that. No, you hit like a man.
Yeah, I'm really though.
Your punches hurt because you have brothers. Yeah, my sisters are very tough. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't see myself just like balling my fist up and punching my sister in the face. Like, I couldn't see myself doing it. Like, I ever like muff my sister and stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't like.
And it's crazy because so many people will though, like without hesitation, like bad.
Well, that's because nowadays we're raising them as it's gender neutral across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, little girls can act like little boys, and little boys can act like little girls, and everyone's happy. But there's no, like, of course there's like certain values that you instill in both men and women, but there are certain things called gender roles in society. Do you all agree with that? Gender roles in society? Okay. So in a man and a woman relationship, like, what is the woman's role in that relationship?
Honestly, and I will always say this, I feel like women need to do the laundry. I'm sorry. And that's my biggest take. Like, I just feel like, come on now.
Hold the house down.
Yeah, really. Honestly, at the end of the day, be the backbone. That's really the women's role, to be the backbone.
And even though we take in, it may look like we're in the background, but we really run the house and run the show and stuff like that. You know, but it's just like certain things, like I said, yes, a man, no, I'm not telling you to just date no old nasty man, but as a woman, it's just certain things that you know, you got a lot of girls that's just, oh man, this is how you living your life like that, y'all the baddest things in the club, all the Brazilian, the mink and stuff, you go walk up in shorty house, you got shit from here to there to there, you can't even get in tune with nothing, and then it's like, what is wifeable about that, in a sense?
Wifeable. We're gonna use that as a vocabulary. I like that. Now, so a woman should do laundry, keep the house clean.
Hold the house down.
So like,
were you nurturer?
Were you a product of a 2-parent household or a 1-parent household?
Off and on. My parents, they broke up, so my dad was a single father. So I actually am a product of a single father home because my mom, she was off on drugs for a minute, so my dad took her.
Sorry about your mom, but I'm talking about that.
Oh, she good now. Maddie
My
decent.
My bad. I didn't want to see this sentence.
It's all
What
good.
about you?
2-parent household.
2-parent household.
Odd, but it was there.
Huh?
I said odd, but it was there.
So you were single dad, 2-parent household. How would you say you were raised? How were you raised to be versus how you are?
Not, I don't want to say not genuine, but not so much real. I didn't have to go through anything in life. Like, everything was as simple as, like, here's some money type deal. You know, like, we took the family vacations. Like, we were the picture perfect family. But at the end of the day, like, bro, a lot of broken families spend a lot of time together because they can't do other things.
True.
We didn't have that time because we could do other things. You know what I mean? So the trips were cool, but, like, at the end of the day, like, we're in our separate beds sleeping and, you know, no emotion. So growing up,
Your parents older?
no, not really. They're only in their 40s.
Okay.
So they had me young. But yeah, just growing up, I didn't really realize it till later on, but it's just hard for me to have like relationships with people. Like it's a struggle for me, and I'm working on it, but
Because you're used to being
isolated. Yeah. So it's hard for me to be like when people try to rub on me or cuddle, I'm just like, you know, like
You're in my space.
no, but really, and I don't freak out like
real.
that. I'm just like,
It's
you know,
hard.
like
Affection.
you can really. I said, we good? We watching a movie. Let's just watch it. You know, like that's all I be.
Oh, we watching a movie.
Right.
Sit in a chair.
I just be like
Sit in a single person chair. I'm gonna sit right here on the edge of the couch.
with my feet up.
Good show. Enjoying your ice cream. Now, you said when your mom was strung out on drugs and your father was raising you, what kind of things would your father say to you about your mom?
So you know what? They was public enemy number one when they was, because when I say like my mom, she did drugs, but the outside world wouldn't know that. So the one thing that I can say, like my mom is a womanly woman. If you saw her back in the day, you wouldn't even know. It's just that we knew. So like everything about being a woman, my mom showed me. So I can't say like she didn't teach me anything or she didn't show. It's just that when she hit her breaking point, she hit it bad, and my dad had to come in. Now certain things I felt like because he was still in love with my mom. So when they broke up at the end of the day, you just had to make the conscious decision to leave her alone. Like, this is not right and I got to get my kids. But the woman that he went, and see, this is the thing with healing yourself and getting yourself right, because you went searching high and low for another Maddie. You found the carbon copy that sent us through hell. Like, you went to try to find that fire that my mama had, and this was a hazard. A hazard. And she never showed nothing, and it was so crazy. Like my dad, at that time, I felt like certain things that he said was inappropriate, but I felt like too, he never had nobody backing him. You a single daddy of us, like nobody ever had him. It's just everything, like you had to do everything for us, and I felt like maybe sometime the pressure of that got to him, but my dad's a military man, so we just always had to operate at a certain system. And that's another thing too, like lacking affection and things like that, because my dad, he'll walk to Africa if he need to come get us. He's a manly man, but we didn't really have that connection as far as affection and stuff like that.
He just took care. He took
care, and it's like, love us to death, but did he understand us, or could we just go talk with him and stuff like that? No, it will always be like it's my way or no way. And that was his attitude. And look here.
How many of y'all was it?
So it was 3 of us. I have an older brother and a younger brother, and it's myself. So my dad, by my mom. So it was 3 of us, and I was the only girl at that point. So 2 boys and a girl, 3 Aries under one roof. It was cracking. It was busting.
I got 2 under my roof right now.
I get triggered, boy. I don't know if I'm turning red, my face hot. That's a trigger for me, boy.
My dad, my brother, and we all, like, literally, I'm 3 days after my dad and my brother. We're a week apart, and it just...
Ooh, male Aries at that.
Yes. Well, I ran the... Look, y'all can't handle me.
So it's kind of like your dad was able to do some things that earlier in the conversation that we said that men would not be able to handle.
To an extent, yes. Like I feel like, yeah, my dad, he is the epitome of a father, and I feel like that. And I mean, no question answered. Like he didn't have to. Look, I'm coming to get my kids. You get, like, my dad is actually a single father again. So 2 times he's been a single father, and it's like nobody had to, like, his baby mamas, including my mom, they have more of the male role. Like, y'all was able to, hey, we out here, we gonna get our life together when we want to get our life together. We gonna send a couple ducats when we want to. But other than that, my dad had to handle things. But I can't say the same for his ex-wife, because you just an evil-spirited, bogus woman. My mom, she had a real life addiction, and it was real. And then a lot of that, like, I mean, to do drugs is a choice, but a lot of her stuff came from childhood trauma and stuff like that. You come from 16 children. You come from brothers that were literally a part of the war and the what do you call that, LSD epidemic and stuff like that. Yeah. Plus deaths after deaths after death. You lost your mother, you lost your brother killed your sister, and you lost your child father within a 6-month span. So I can say I wouldn't be out here beaming up to Scotty. You know, that's
a lot.
It's a lot.
But something that she never really went through.
Yeah. So, and that's back to back to back. But yeah, like my mom, like I say, people, man, I love my mom. You would never know it. I tell it because that's a part of my life. But like, she held stuff down too. She had her weak moment, and I mean, shout out to her because you picked the right baby daddy. You know, some people it's a choice.
Big up.
Look, he
laid down with the right one.
The right one. Like, all right, cool. Get your life together. I got mine. So.
Now, Jazz, now you say you got 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. Now, in this society now, this gender neutral society, how are you raising your daughters? I'm new to the daughter game. I just had a daughter. So
congratulations.
Thanks. Pray for me. Because I've raised boys, you know what I'm saying? Boy, because I used to be a little boy. So I kind of know what that's like. What advice can you give fathers that are raising daughters?
Honestly, and I don't mean to say this like to judge people, because I'm not for judging anybody, but I want you to look at other women's, maybe the mother of your children, or any women in general, their lifestyle. What do you want to correct for your children?
Ooh, that's right on the head.
And that's what I mean. That's why I feel like a lot of people tell me all the time, and I'm not even gassing myself. I'm like, you're a great mom. I'm like, I know, because look, I learned from my mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes and keep it pushing. I learned from my mistakes, and I put okay, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna do it this way because I did it this way, and everything went left. So
trash, right?
Yeah. So that's the number one advice I give people. Like, just really learn from your mistakes, be honest with yourself, and put it on your children as far as like making the right decisions.
That's real, because I believe that's a big secret to parenting is find yourself and your child and correct your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. I get crucified for saying this all the time. It's okay sometimes to live through your children. Because I know.
I need to stop.
You say you need to what?
I need to stop. I think I admit it when I say overdo it. I'm like, baby, we're gonna sign you for cheerleading because look here, like, I'm like, girl, I'm gonna get the jackets made. Like, we're gonna be all this, and then it's like, Mom, I want to have a mermaid birthday party. Okay, but what I was thinking was, you know, and I need
this
to
party
just
for
be
me.
like, I'm taking all the credit.
Parties for me, but yeah, because you know, like you said, like your DNA is in your child. You know what I'm saying? So that some of that trauma, like you were talking about, you know what I'm saying, will be passed on to your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, a lot of mine was shutting down. You know what I'm saying? Shutting down, not saying anything when I get angry. You know what I'm saying? My son does this. And I can talk to him till I'm blue in the face. I'm fine. I'm okay. And then I plead with him, you know what I'm saying? Hey, son, when I was like that, man, you know, I was punching holes in the wall. And then I'm like, damn, did I just give him an idea? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to talk to him. But when he finally, those layers start coming down, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to speak to him or everything. He's calm. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, I'm so happy that I went through that and I can coach him out of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I would hate to be going through, have him go through something and I can't help. You know what I'm saying?
So you keep it real with your children.
I keep it true.
And I feel like that is a lot. See, and that's the area that I feel like a lot of parents, when y'all get y'all lives together and you sometimes forget you were once a child before or a teenager and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of stuff with my dad, and whenever I do have kids, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. You know, I'm not gonna make you seem like certain things is the cool thing to do, but like my dad tried to have us under a rock. Like, that's
We're
not,
just trying to keep
you
it-
know, or
trying to
like,
trying to keep this platoon safe.
I mean, yeah, to an extent, like, or, you know, they act like certain things y'all never did, and I feel for the child,
Yeah.
like, you just gotta, like, the best thing that you could do is be like, hell, I was doing this, I did this and that and certain stuff. Don't try to make it seem like you better than your child just because you have matured. Because, you know, a lot of kids, even though you're raising your kids, you're growing with your kids too. Like, you know, so you're not a finished product, and don't act like that, because a lot of parents, they sit up kids, they're not comfortable. And I feel like the best thing, like, even with my dad being the best dad, whenever I have kids, I want my kids to be comfortable with me. Comfortable to, like, at the end of the day, regardless if I get whooped, regardless if you cuss me out, like, I know I can come and talk to you. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, like, you're my father, but you understand me. Or you're my mother, like, look, I can come lay on your head, and you may talk some stuff, but at the end of the day, like, man, look, Mom, let me tell you, I just fucked up. Or I just did this and that. Because that go a lot of way, because it's pressures feeling like you done failed your parents, or they're going to judge you. Like, I don't even want to talk about it now. I done created a even bigger mess when it could have literally been, you know, reversed by, like, hey, let me tell you about this, or going about it, you know, going about it this way.
Through it. Right. Like that, because if you don't keep it 1,000 with your kids, you end up with a Tyreek St. Patrick. You know what I'm saying?
Show me the game, Ghost.
Really though.
No, for real.
And honestly, the thing a lot of people say is, like, your children follow suit. What you do, you know, they'll follow suit. But I think that's more of a natural thing, and that's what people are ignoring. Like, even how Ghost was, like, he put his son in the best schools. He hid that life from his son, and his son still grew up to do the same thing. It's a natural thing. And I noticed that with my kids. Growing up, I was quiet, I was shy, I liked reading, coloring, you know, just very naive. My child, I don't show her that me anymore, but I can just, she still loves coloring, she's very naive. Like, it's a natural state to be following suit. So if you're honest with your child, hey, I went through the same thing, or this is the route that I took. You know, let's learn from it, let's grow, let me talk you through it.
So,
instead of hiding your lifestyle.
So Ghost should have been more like Tasha and help him sell the drugs?
Well, I think honestly, I think when he got to a certain age, he should have been real with his son, honestly.
I agree.
Because I feel like following suit is a natural thing. Your child, that's your child. Like you said, that's your DNA. It's
once he sent him off to school and he was still selling drugs, like you gotta talk to him. Actually, after he got kidnapped by Kanan, and he was exposed to Kanan for all those months. They should have, like, ran away and been on an island somewhere. Because he went through the exact same thing that his dad went through. This is not a spoiler or anything like that, but you just got to really, you gotta watch how you raise your kids, because you're turning these kids. They're gonna turn into adults one day. You know what I'm saying? Like our last show, we were talking about, 2 shows ago, we were talking about mending broken black boys and preventing broken black men. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of our issues in life stem from when we were children. You know what I'm saying? From when we were children. So we had an opportunity. If you have an opportunity to see that in your child, fix that shit. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very simple. It's not hard. It's not hard to do if you first admit that something's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
First step to recovery is to admit that there is a problem.
Because you got to, like, when I lacked confidence when I was coming up. I was good at a lot of stuff, but I didn't believe I was good at it. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter what was going on. My mom was also on drugs. You know what I'm saying? But my mom was also my best friend. You know what I'm saying? So that affected my relationship with women, especially Aries women. My mama Aries. My mama Aries. Y'all crazy.
Ain't nothing wrong with us.
Be all subtle and stuff. Then all of a sudden,
Savage.
flame on.
Savage.
You know, because Aries bury a lot of things and then they explode. I think that's how it works.
See,
sometimes
I don't bury a lot, but you get to, you know, I don't know. I think it's a difference between March and April Aries too.
Which one are you?
I'm a March. I'm March 27th.
Oh, 28 first.
she got some Pisces going on in there too.
Yeah, just a little bit more. So Capricorn is my moon.
Y'all have a good conversation. Are you into the zodiacs?
a little bit here and there. I'm more into, like,
What you is?
a Leo, so, you know.
Okay,
You know.
boss. boss.
To say the least.
Straight boss king.
Period.
It's like, this is gonna be funny. So like, in nature, when a lot of mammals get other mammals pregnant, it's not really natural for the man to stick around.
Well, we're humans. No.
I hear what you're saying. It's not really natural for the man to stick around with just that one. With ratio, I don't know the numbers. I probably should have BFACS look this up. But I know that there's more women on the planet than there are men. I know that for a fact. I don't know the numbers, but I know that for a fact. Do you believe that it's natural to be with one person, or is it more natural to be with multiple people?
I feel like it's natural.
I feel
like
it.
one person.
Think it's natural?
Yeah,
Okay.
monogamy. I think it comes natural. But then again, I think people are curious, and I think certain things that are around, people want to explore certain things. Are we about to talk about polygamy?
You heard it? Here we go. So what is your guys'
Wait, before we jump in.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, United States of America male to female ratio and total population in 2015. 97.87 males per 100 females.
So more women than there are men on the
Just
planet.
by a tad.
Just a little bit.
Still more. More is more, guys.
Yep,
More is
yep,
more.
yep.
Okay. My check was $97. My check was $100. Okay. My second check was bigger. Okay. So there's more women on the planet than there are men on the planet. So you're saying it's how do you say it?
Monogamy.
Being monogamous.
Ooh.
I couldn't say it.
Ooh.
I just get tongue tied, baby. I can say it. But you believe it's natural for a man to be with one woman?
Yes.
Or is it natural for a woman to be with one man?
Both. Definitely. I think guys only be getting that. I feel like certain ways in which they grow up and the things that's around them. And then because a lot of guys are followers and stuff like that too. So I feel like a lot of guys, because check it out. You okay with being monogamous because if you can't handle that same hurt that you give out, it's no type of way. Like, you'll get your heart broke. Like a lot of guys, your heart broke because little Keisha up in second grade didn't want to date you and gave your chocolate milk to little Brandon. So you've been heartbroken for 32 years and stuff like that.
Hey guys, want to catch the whole conversation? Go ahead and catch us on Spotify and SoundCloud.